Are we live? I think we're live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome to another Write With Me live stream. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. I have to make sure that my mic and my camera are both working. So type in the chat, tell me if you can hear me and see me. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you are showing up for yourself and showing up for your writing today. This is going to be fun. We're going to write together and do 3 writing sprints, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, or 5 to 10 minutes, because I talk during the breaks. We chat about our stories during the breaks, and I answer some of your questions that come through in the chat. So that's how this works. If you have never been to one of these live streams before, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, and it's going to be fun. I think you'll enjoy it. So everyone can hear me okay? Awesome. Fantastic. Great. Writers from all over the world are tuning in. Tell me where you're from. Type in the chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. I see writers from the UK, New York, Scotland, Canada, Brazil, Virginia, Germany, New York City. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to get started in a few minutes. But first, I'm just going to chat for a few minutes while everybody hops on the live stream. Today, I am working on some rewrites for my my lighthouse book, as I call it. And I'm so close to being done, guys. It's so exciting because all summer, since June, basically, I have been really focusing hard on this book, on rewrites for this book, and it's been an interesting journey because I've changed so much about the plot and about the characters, and so much of this book has changed since the first draft that it's very different than it was, but it also still has all of the same ingredients that I love about it. And I'm really excited to share with you guys. I'm not going to reveal too much because it's a secret for now, but I'm hoping to release it next year at some point. So that is something to look forward to. Rocket wants to come say hi, and I have to indulge him because he's so cute. Come in. I know you like to. You want to say hi to everybody? We're just getting started. Say hi. He's so cute. He is very scruffy right now because I haven't trimmed him in a while, but he loves seeing you guys. He loves popping into our Write With Me live streams and saying hi. Okay, so yeah, I'm working on the Lighthouse book still, but I'm very close to being done. So I have I think 5 chapters left to rewrite, and then it's done. The first or second, third, whatever draft this is, will be complete. And I'm really excited because that means the next stage is editing again, professional edits, and then actually planning the release. So I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because I tend to plan things and then really hold myself to deadlines. So I'm trying to not do that this time. I want to feel like I am confident in the story and proud of it before I figure out like an actual timeline of publishing. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Awesome. Everybody is hopping on. We're going to get started in just a minute. Get your timers ready. And if you are in the Discord, I'm going to open up the Discord right now because I haven't got that started. I'm going to be doing the sprints in the Discord as well. So if you haven't joined the Discord, you can do that by joining my Patreon at any level. So the Discord community is so fun, such a vibrant, active community of all of you amazing writers. And it's great because we can chat in there on a daily basis about our work. A lot of you guys share updates about your work, and you can share pieces of your work. And we discuss other things like storytelling and writing and storytelling principles and books and movies. All kinds of fun discussions happen in the Discord community. So to join, you have to join my Patreon at any level, And the link to that is in the description box below this video. So I'm going to get a writing sprint started. I'm going to sprint for 25 minutes in 2 minutes. Okay, that's starting. And you guys can join that. I'm going to go ahead and join. I'm going to join with 0 words because I'm kind of editing at this point. I think Rocky wants to get there. Okay. You want to get in your bed? Okay. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to get my timer ready. You can get your timers ready, or you can follow along with my timer. Either way, 25 minutes on the clock. And oh, as this ticks down, as we get ready for this first sprint, you probably saw the fundraiser on this video, on this live stream. I try to take the opportunity every time I do a live stream to incorporate a fundraiser because I love bringing awareness to issues that matter to me and that matter to the world. And to me, one of those most urgent needs in this world is bringing freedom, especially to children. So I love the organization Operation Underground Railroad for this reason. They are dedicated to fighting and ending human trafficking, and they're so cool. Definitely check out their website at ourrescue.org. But the fundraiser for the organization is on this live stream as well, which we've been doing on the channel for like a few months now, and it's well over $12,000. I hope to eventually reach over $25,000. But it's so cool to see this fundraiser grow and build as you guys have given and raised awareness for this issue as well. And it just touches my heart so much to see you guys come together and care about this as well with me. It's so cool to be able to spread this message to the community and beyond. So definitely check out OUR. They are amazing. I love their work, and donate to the fundraiser on this live stream because 100% of your donations today go straight to Operation Underground Railroad, go straight to saving and rescuing children from slavery and human trafficking. So there's that, and we're going to get started in just a minute. I think my Discord timer is ready to go. Okay, we're talking over time. Sorry guys in the Discord. I'm rambling, and you're probably ready to get to writing. Okay, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start my timer here, and I think I already joined in the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you can go ahead and join there, and we're gonna get started. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you in 25 minutes. We'll chat, and I'll answer some of your questions. Okay. That was timer number 1. Just writing. First sprint done. And I successfully finished revising this chapter. So I'm happy about that. I feel like this part still needs some help, but I'll probably come back to it because I kind of want to move on to the next chapter. So tell me how it went. Tell me in the chat. How did it go? Hopefully you guys don't mind the sound of my new mechanical keyboard. I got this pretty much like a month ago now, and I love it so much. Literally just like the sound, the feeling of it. Oh, it's such a mood. Just, I love it. I love writing with it, especially. I almost feel like it makes me more creative because I usually only use it when I'm writing, and so when I'm using it, I'm like already in writing mode. It's weird. Okay, so tell me how it went. Looks like everybody got some words in. Fantastic. Y'all like my keyboard? Yay. Yeah, I also love how it just makes more keyboard noises than the other one. So it's just more writing ASMR. Awesome, guys. Looks like you wrote a lot of words. Fantastic. Let's see if I can update my sprint in the Discord without like. It's hard to tell because like I edited, didn't really write. I rewrote, I deleted some, but I ended up editing 572 words. So I'm just going to put that, even though they aren't all brand new. Okay. So we are going to chat for a few minutes, and then we'll go into our second writing sprint. Okay. So let's see. Let me answer a few questions. Whoops. Well, hold on. Here's a good question from Isabella. How to handle lots of characters, found family. I have a group of 6, but I don't know how to make each of them interesting and fun to read about. So this can be really fun, and I'm sure you have read some books, seen some movies, just experienced some stories where you have a large cast of characters and you're just like, you love them all so much. They are your darlings and you would watch them do anything because they are such great characters. So that's really where it starts. It starts with building up the characters individually and their personalities, their beliefs, their backstories. I think backstory is a really good place to start with this because it's something, especially in like a found family scenario, where you can kind of start to unravel some of their backstory later on. And that just kind of adds to the intrigue of who they are, where they come from, and what they've been through, how their experiences have shaped their beliefs. All of that is like so much behind what makes us care about characters in a story. I also talked about large casts and writing large casts in my live training on subplots. So if you didn't see my live training on side characters and subplots, I think you'd get a lot of value out of that one, because in that one I talk about writing large casts and how to kind of have like some anchor characters, but also making every character richly developed so that we care about them. And that's really, I think, what it comes down to, is figuring out each character's internal conflict, their fatal flaw or misbelief, and also giving each of them like a personality that kind of creates chemistry with the other characters. You know what I mean? Another thing that I've been finding really helpful for writing multiple characters interacting with each other is like really working on developing their relationships with the other characters. And that's something I think can be like overlooked or sort of like left up to chance. But it's so important to take the time to really define, what do you want their relationship with other characters to be? How can it maybe create some opportunities for communication, solidarity, but also for humor. So I love banter and I love comedy in dialogue. And I think that's where it begins, is like developing the relationships between the characters. And that's something you can do ahead of time and plan out before you even write. And that's really helpful, in my opinion. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Good question from Hannah. Tips on fitting in vital flashback scenes in a way that makes sense and doesn't seem too random. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, thank you so much. Great question. Flashbacks can be awesome and very revealing of your character's internal conflict, which I love. I love flashbacks. I love it when they're done well. And to me, a well done flashback that doesn't feel random or out of place always has a reason for being there. Like it has like a trigger and a response to the plot. So it has a reason we have a reason to go into the flashback, and we have an immediate effect on how we see the story going forward. So you can play with these triggers and the effects that it has on the story. I have a really good video on flashbacks actually that you should check out. If you type in on YouTube, Abby Evans flashbacks, it will pop right up. But in that video, I talk about cause and effect, and using the principle of cause and effect to make your flashbacks feel natural and to really create a reason for going into each flashback, and then an effect that it has on the story going forward. So it changes the way that we see the characters and see the plot. But really, it's all about finding a trigger. And that trigger can be pretty small. It can be something even that your main character or the point of view character is maybe experiencing something in the present day that just reminds them of something that happened in the past. Anything can really trigger a memory, and that connection is really what makes it feel not random. So if we can see that direct connection, we're like, okay, I see why we're going into this, and I see the effect that it now has, changing the way I look at the story going forward. That to me is a well-written flashback. Let's see. How do you stay motivated to write every day without giving up if you didn't accomplish your goals yet? That's a question from Katya. That's a great question. It's definitely difficult to stay motivated, especially when you feel like you haven't accomplished what you've set out to accomplish. But I think that it's important to focus more on the journey and less on the achievement or the destination, because really writing and being a writer is such a journey. It's such a experience of practice and just continuing to enjoy the next thing. And to me, if you're enjoying what you're doing, if you love it and you're inspired and creative and deriving joy from this thing, then you are in the midst of accomplishing. That's where it's at. That's what every writer wants, is to be practicing their art and enjoying it. And the thing is, like, even if you reach this level of like, okay, I've accomplished my goal of like finishing my book. Okay, well, now you have to publish it. And then once you publish it, you are starting to think about, what's the next thing I'm going to publish. So there's like always the next thing. So I would advise to take the time to enjoy where you are right now, and try to just savor the place you are in your journey right now. And I think that to me is motivating, because it helps me to experience each new day of my art as like, this is a new experience. This is something that I've never done before, and I can find joy in something new and interesting and creative in this day that I won't be able to have later down the road, even after I accomplish my goal or whatever. You'll never live this day again, so enjoy it. And also check out mine and Kate's podcast, because in that podcast we constantly talk about motivation, staying motivated. We have so many episodes on that topic, and it's just straight fire. When Kate and I get talking about motivation, we can't shut up. It's awesome. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question, and then we're going to get into our next sprint. This is a good question from J Core. How to differentiate character voice in multiple point of view, specifically how they recount their perspective. So character voice is definitely something that takes a lot of practice, I think, to differentiate character voice. But what helps me a lot, and I have a video about character voice as well, so check that one out. But what helps me a lot is to kind of make a list of styles, like the character's voice and just their personality, I guess, like how they talk to themselves, if that makes sense. And this will be more applicable if you're writing in first person, but it works for third person too. But I do this for every book that I write. Whenever I'm switching points of view, I try to make a list of like, okay, what are the distinctive things about the way this character speaks to themselves, like narrates, thinks about stuff, and also interacts with other characters. And how do they perceive other characters? Again, going back to the relationship thing, this is also really helpful for character voice, because if you have this character that has specific, you've already figured out what their relationships with the other characters are, well, that's going to carry over into how they perceive these other characters, right? How they interpret their behavior and their motivations, even if they're not correct. It's all about sinking into that character's perspective. But making this list of styles, like even if it's something as simple as they always use these particular phrases, and then none of my other characters use those particular phrases, or they use a lot of metaphors, or they come up with like funny, spontaneous nicknames for new people that enter the plot, enter the story, or they, have a short temper, or have a tendency to get, angry easily, something like that. Like just things that are partially their personality, but then also like little personality quirks that you can kind of incorporate into their voice. And keeping those lists handy and keeping those distinctive features distinctive to those individual characters really helps to make their voices unique. So hopefully that helps. That's something to practice with. Okay, let's get into our next sprint, because I've been talking for over 10 minutes. What the heck? I'm going to set one up in the Discord. Looks like we haven't. So. Okay, I'm going to start that in just a minute. And I'm joining with 0 words again because I'm starting on to my next chapter. All right. I'm going to dive into my next chapter, which actually I've merged 2 chapters here. I took 2 chapters from 2 characters' points of view, and I'm going to change it to be my 3rd character's point of view. So that'll be fun. Again, we're just talking about character voice. I have to kind of massage this chapter and change the voice to fit this 3rd character better. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm going to start my timer for 25 minutes, and we will talk again then. That was so fast. What the heck? Tell me how it went in the chat. I just need to finish this sentence. I don't know. Okay. Tell me how it went in the chat. I got like, let's see, 518 words into this. Editing, that is. But I chopped a lot of words too. Anyway, feeling good about it. Getting really into this. Okay. Looks like you guys had a good sprint as well. Fantastic. Great job, guys. Lots of words being written today. Super productive. That's what I like to see. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break again and I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then we're going to go into our third and final writing sprint. Okay, let's see. How do you flesh out a coherent ending? So an ending to your story. That's a good question. That's something that I was recently talking about in my last live training, which I did on Sunday. If you guys haven't seen that one, actually, it's an interesting opportunity because there are 2 live trainings. It's a 2-part thing, all about plotting your book start to finish. So definitely check that one out if you haven't seen it. Really in depth, lots of content in the archive as well of live trainings on my Patreon. You can check those out by clicking the link below this video. But as far as like the ending of your story goes, like making the ending coherent and that everything is tied up and everything feels like just it all comes together, either in a victory, maybe a little bit of a tragedy, depends on your story. Really, it's all about tying up all those loose ends, right? And making sure that your characters have arrived at a new place. So this is something that I kind of ask myself actually every time that I finish writing a chapter, a new scene or a sequence in a story, is like, what changed? How have the characters changed? How has their attitude towards things changed? Maybe their beliefs, how their beliefs changed. So that's something that I do like to focus on when it comes to the ending of a story, particularly, is like, what is the character arc that these characters have gone on? How have they changed as a result of their journey? That, to me, is the #1 most important thing for you to incorporate in your ending, so that your readers understand where these characters have come from, what is the journey that they've been on, how their experiences shaped their beliefs and maybe helped them to overcome some lies and some misbeliefs that they believed. That's the most important part of the ending, in my opinion. And I have a few videos on the ending, by the way. My video on climaxes, definitely check that one out. That one tackles this pretty well. Your recommendation for a novel's word count really depends on the type of novel that you're writing, what genre it is, and what audience you are kind of writing for. So naturally, younger readers, probably you're going to write shorter books. Older readers, you might be writing longer books. It depends, of course, on the genre and the style of book. I would recommend looking at some comparable works, like books that kind of remind you of this book that you're writing, and also books that are like intended for the same target audience. And just look around at like what's the average word count of those books and kind of aim for something similar. You don't need to be like super specific about matching like the expected, like the genre expectations of word count, but it is something definitely to kind of stay within a certain range, because you don't want to be like wildly off and kind of taking your target audience off the table of what you were trying to write for. So that is something definitely to consider. But I would say as long as you're not too extreme one way or the other, like generally similar word count to comparable works is a good idea. Let's see. Any tips for portraying mental illness? The best way to portray any experience, in my opinion, when you're writing, is to make sure that you are respectfully and accurately portraying whatever experience your character is going through. And to me, the best way to do that is to reach out to people who've actually gone through experiences that your characters have gone through. So whether that is a physical disability or a mental illness, something like that, something that you maybe don't necessarily have the experience particularly to write about, you can find so many helpful people to reach out to and ask them questions, and lead with this desire to accurately and respectfully portray this character in your story. I think you'll find that people that you reach out to are really willing to help and really would love to help, because they also want to see accurate representations of their own experiences portrayed in fiction. So that's the first thing that I would recommend doing, is reach out to people. Either you can find them through blogs, find them through the internet, or YouTube channels is another great place to look. Anyone who has gone through a similar experience to your character. And that to me is like the beauty of being able to find online communities and reach out to people that you've never met before, and people that you might not have met if you didn't set out to write this story. So it's a great new experience. It's very enlightening too. That's a process that I went through when I wrote 100 Days of Sunlight, because my characters had gone through some very specific experiences and I wanted to write them accurately and respectfully. So I made sure that I reached out to people that I could find who had gone through experiences that were as similar as I could find to my characters, and wasn't afraid to ask questions and do research and really dig deep into understanding all of the different elements and drawing inspiration from real stories as well. So that's where I would start. I think you will find that it's really helpful to speak with people who have experienced what your characters, or similar things to what your characters have gone through. Let's see. Advice for teen writers: managing time, best practices for developing skills. What about finding community? So a lot there, but tips for teen writers, really, honestly, it's the same as my advice for any other writer, which is the more you write and the more you focus on what makes your story matter to you and to others and to your characters, the better you become. It's really just a matter of practice, time. And I know I say that a lot, but I say it because it's true. And if you just continue to do it because you love it, and write what you love, write the things that are fun to you, that are the most like enjoyable, adventurous, self-indulgent things to write. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't take it too seriously right away, because that'll take the joy out of it. Like, yes, you can have specific goals. It's great to have goals. It's great to have, different levels of what you want to achieve with your writing. But I would say the most important thing is that you continue to enjoy it. So don't take it too seriously. Do it because you love it and write what you love. As far as time management goes, oh my gosh, there's like so much to talk about with time management. But I would say find what are the priority things in your life that you absolutely need to do. Like these are non-negotiable things in your life. Make time for those, and then be really strict with yourself about what else really matters to you besides writing. Because if things come into your schedule and kind of push writing aside, you won't have time for it. So you really have to make that time. You have to schedule that time for your writing, for your art, even if it's not something as intense as calendar blocking or something, although I do love calendar blocking. But like designating certain days of the week where you have non-negotiable writing time. That to me, that's something that I practice all the time. And that is probably single-handedly what allows me to focus on my writing as much as I do. So do take it seriously enough to spend time in it. But when you are spending time in it, don't take it so seriously that you overwhelm yourself. If that makes sense. That would be my advice. Are those Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys books on the shelf? Yes, they are. I have a ton more, but these are the Nancy Drew books over here and the Hardy Boys books over here. And I grew up reading these books. I love them so much. Like, so obsessed with Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys growing up, and still am, honestly. Lots of inspiration came from these books. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question, and then we're going to get into our third and final writing sprint. Do you have any tips for writing your first chapter? That's a question from Teresa. That's a great question. And it's such a big question, such a big answer to that question that I did another live training on that topic. So if you didn't see that live training, definitely check that one out. You can watch the replay, still available on my Patreon. And the link to that is in the description box below this video, by the way. But in that live training, I talked about how the most important thing for writing your first chapter is to really showcase your main character's internal conflict. And I know I say that all the time, but I say it so much because it's true. This is the one and only thing that every person can relate to, this clash of desire versus fear. I don't care what's going on with your plot. I don't care what external events are happening, what exciting things are happening externally to the character. All of that is just a thing happening to a person. And why should I care? I need to care about the character first. Your readers need to see why they should care, why they should empathize with the main character in order to care about what's happening to the main character. So I go deeper into this in the live training, but also I would recommend checking out my video on writing the hook. And in that video, I talk about like the first chapter, first 5 minutes. Also my video on my Science of Story video breaking down Disney movies and the first 5 minutes of each one, and how like they so perfectly unveil the protagonist's internal conflict in the first 5 minutes that makes you care and pulls you into the story. Doesn't necessarily mean that you see what the plot's going to be yet, but you do see what the main character is struggling with. That to me is non-negotiable. It needs to be in the first chapter, or else why do we care, right? So definitely something to think about. But again, you can get access to that live training and the whole archive of 6 other previous live trainings on building characters, creating villains, plotting your novel start to finish, side characters and subplots, all of that goodness in the link below when you get the live training pass. Okay, let's get into our third and final writing sprint. I want to see if I can finish this chapter, and if I can, This will be like the most productive Write With Me live stream that I've done so far. So I'm going to start the next one in the Discord. And y'all can join over there. I'm going to put my existing word count now, I think. 1507. Because I'm just rewriting and editing. But whatever. I'm going to set my timer. 25 minutes. Okay. Let's go. That was our third timer. Let's see if the Discord went off. Time's up. Tell me how it went in the chat. See, I have fewer words than I started with. 14, 25. Right. Guess I forgot to join the last sprint in the Discord. Forgot to join my own sprint. What the heck? Okay, well, looks like you guys got some words in. A lot of words written today over the course of our session. Fantastic job, everyone. I got quite a bit done. I finished revising a chapter and I'm very close to finishing this one. So I'm probably going to continue working and finish this one. And then I will only have, let's see, 3 chapters left this whole draft, which is very exciting. I can't wait to share it with you all. But anyway, for now, I hope you guys had a good writing session. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was super fun getting to hang out with you guys and chat about your books and write together. Always have so much fun doing this with you guys. And stick around because we're going to be doing more Write With Me live streams in the future, of course. We do these at least once a month, and I think during NaNoWriMo this year, I'm going to be doing them more frequently, probably every week. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. And until then, you can join the Discord community, and we're doing writing sprints in there like almost every single day. There are tons of writers in that community, and we chat all the time, hang out, talk about our stories, and help each other, encourage each other. It's a great, loving, vibrant community. So if you love hanging out with us here on the live streams, but you would like to do that all the time, like every day, be inside this community, chatting with all these amazing writers and hanging out with me and doing writing sprints, check out the Discord. I think you'll like it. You can get access by clicking the link below this live stream and joining my Patreon at any level. So check that out for sure. And thank you everyone in the Discord for your support. It means so much to me. Thank you everyone who showed up to write with me today. I love you guys so much. Like this video if you enjoyed this live stream, and definitely subscribe if you haven't already, because I have tons of writing content coming at you very soon. It's going to be good. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, rock on.